Hey guys, tonight we venture into the sun-drenched landscapes of ancient Greece, where the gentle rustle of olive trees fills the air with a comforting whisper. Picture yourself wandering through sprawling groves, the scent of ripe olives and warm earth enveloping you like a soft blanket. You might think this sounds like a scene from a travel documentary, but trust me, you probably won't survive this historical journey without a few giggles and did you know moments along the way. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I mean, no pressure, but if you're loving this cozy trip through history, why not? And hey, while you're at it, drop your location and local time in the comments because I'm genuinely curious about where you're tuning in from tonight. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. As we begin exploring this Greeks and their love for olive oil, it's important to recognize that this was no mere condiment for them. It was a daily ritual, a way of life. Olive oil was as integral to the Greek diet as water is to ours. Imagine waking up in a modest stone house, the sun spilling through the windows, and the first thing you do is drizzle some olive oil on your morning bread. It's a practice that speaks volumes about the centrality of this golden liquid in their daily existence. Historically, olive oil was not only a staple in the Greek diet, but also a symbol of prosperity and health. The Greeks were among the first to cultivate the olive tree, which they believed to be a gift from the goddess Athena herself. According to myths, Athena offered the olive tree to the city of Athens as a symbol of peace and prosperity, a gesture deeply cherished by the ancient Greeks. Can you imagine being in the crowd that witness that moment? Talk about a divine endorsement for your dinner table. But olive oil wasn't just for food. It was also used extensively for personal grooming and religious rituals. Greeks would anoint themselves with it before exercise, believing it enhanced their athletic performance. So, you might say that the Olympic athletes of ancient Greece were essentially slathering themselves in liquid gold. Historians still argue whether this practice gave them a significant edge or if it was more about aesthetics and tradition. As we delve deeper into their daily lives, we see that olive oil was used in cooking, as a dressing, and even as a base for perfumes. It was the Swiss Army knife of their pantry. Imagine a world where every meal is laced with the rich, fruity flavor of olive oil, where every gathering is marked by its presence. The Greeks would have found it strange, if not outright absurd, to prepare a meal without it. The economic implications of olive oil were profound as well. It served as a form of currency, a commodity that could be traded for goods and services. Think of it as the ancient version of Bitcoin, except it's much tastier and doesn't require an electric outlet. The olive trade flourished, and with it, the prosperity of the cities that embraced this precious resource. Farmers would harvest their olives, press them into oil, and sell their produce at local markets. A marketplace bustling with merchants shouting prices and buyers sampling the finest oils sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yet, beyond the mundane aspects of daily life, the Greeks held a deep reverence for olive oil. It was a symbol of peace, wisdom, and triumph. As you can see, olive oil was not just a culinary delight, it was a cultural cornerstone that influenced various facets of Greek life. While we continue our exploration, remember that the relationship between the Greeks and their beloved olive oil is a multi-layered tapestry, each thread woven with history, myth, and daily ritual. And so, as we step further into this narrative, we'll uncover the origins of olive cultivation and how this simple fruit became a cultural icon that stretched beyond the shores of Greece, weaving through the Mediterranean and beyond. As we continue our journey through the sun-soaked hills of ancient Greece, let's delve into the origins of olive cultivation. Picture the rugged terrain, with its gnarled olive trees standing tall against a backdrop of bright blue skies. The olive tree, resilient and hardy, flourished in this Mediterranean climate, and the Greeks were among the first to recognize its value. But how did this humble fruit transform into the liquid gold we now associate with the region? The earliest evidence of olive cultivation dates back to around 6000 BC in the eastern Mediterranean. Archaeological findings suggest that the ancestors of the Greeks were already pressing olives into oil long before the rise of classical Greek civilization. Imagine early farmers, with sun-kissed skin and dirt under their nails, carefully tending to these trees that would become a cornerstone of their survival. Historians still argue whether these early cultivators fully understood the nutritional and economic potential of the olive tree, or if they simply appreciated the taste. By around 2000 BCE, the Minoans, an ancient civilization on the island of Crete, had fully embraced olive oil as a dietary staple and a trade commodity. They developed techniques for pressing olives and storing the oil in amphorae, large clay jars that would later become iconic symbols of ancient commerce. Imagine the bustling Minoan ports, filled with ships laden with these amphorae, travelling to far-off lands. It's like the Mediterranean equivalent of a food truck festival, but with a lot more sand and fewer hipster beards. The importance of olive cultivation spread to mainland Greece, where the Greeks began to refine the production process. They discovered that different varieties of olives could yield oils with varied flavours and qualities. It was a bit like discovering that tea can be brewed in different ways to create a myriad of flavours. The Greeks became adept at selecting the best olives for oil production, and soon their oils were renowned for their quality across the Mediterranean. One particularly interesting aspect of olive cultivation was its symbiotic relationship with the land and the people. Olive trees require minimal care once established, thriving in rocky soil that was unsuitable for many other crops. This meant that farmers could cultivate olives while also growing grains and vegetables, creating a diverse agricultural landscape. You could say that the olive tree was the reliable friend who showed up to every party, always there when you needed it, whether you were looking for a snack or a source of income. As the Greeks embraced olive cultivation, the trees became woven into their culture and mythology. The olive tree was sacred to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, who was believed to have gifted it to the Athenians during a contest with Poseidon. Legend has it that the citizens of Athens celebrated this divine gift by cultivating olive trees throughout their city, making olive oil a symbol of both prosperity and divine favour. Imagine the pride of the citizens as they drizzled their prized oil on bread, their meals infused with a touch of the divine. Beyond mythology, olive oil began to find its place in the hearts and minds of the Greek people. It was used in cooking, of course, but it also played a crucial role in ancient medicine. The Greeks believed that olive oil held various health benefits, from promoting longevity to healing wounds. Physicians like Hippocrates extolled the virtues of olive oil, prescribing it for everything from skin ailments to digestive issues. You might say olive oil was the ancient Greek cure like apple cider vinegar today, but with a much tastier application. As we move deeper into the realm of olive oil's history, it's fascinating to consider how this humble fruit became intertwined with economics, health, and spirituality. The Greeks didn't just grow olives, they created a culture that celebrated their importance. The olive tree became more than a plant, it was a symbol of community, history, and a connection to the divine. And as we explore further, we'll uncover how this liquid gold found its way into Greek mythology, becoming a beloved element of their storytelling and cultural identity. As we drift through the ancient realms of Greece, let's now immerse ourselves in the rich tapestry of Greek mythology and its surprising connections to olive oil. Imagine the vibrant stories that danced around fires, tales of gods and mortals intertwined with nature's gifts. Here, olive oil wasn't just a culinary staple, it was steeped in legend and symbolism, representing more than just sustenance. It embodied wisdom, peace, and life itself. At the heart of these myths lies Athena, the goddess of wisdom, who famously competed with Poseidon for the patronage of the city of Athens. The story goes that Poseidon struck the ground with his trident, producing a saltwater spring, while Athena offered the olive tree. The citizens, recognizing the tree's potential for food, oil, and wood, chose Athena's gift, and with that decision, the olive tree became an emblem of their city. It's hard to imagine the ancient Athenians looking at that freshly sown olive and knowing it would soon bear fruit that would nourish their bodies and spirits. Historians still argue whether this myth was merely a clever way to justify Athens' economic reliance on agriculture, or if it was a reflection of the deep respect the Greeks had for the natural world. This story highlights how olive oil was woven into the fabric of Greek culture, appearing not only in the myths, but also in countless rituals and ceremonies. Olive branches were used as symbols of peace, victory, and prosperity, making them a sought-after prize for victors in the Olympic Games. If you've ever seen a victorious athlete crowned with a wreath of olive branches, you can imagine the pride they felt, not just from winning but from being associated with a divine gift. It's a bit like today's champions being awarded gold medals. There's a lasting legacy behind every token of victory. But what about the everyday Greek? For them, olive oil was part of their spiritual life as well. It was used in rituals and anointings, often symbolizing purification and sanctification. Priests would anoint altars and sacred objects with olive oil, believing it imbued them with divine energy. Even the act of anointing oneself was seen as a way to connect with the gods. Just think about that, bathing in olive oil, feeling the smooth liquid glide over your skin, knowing you were partaking in something sacred. It's like a spa day infused with divine inspiration. Moreover, olive oil found its way into the realm of healing and wellness. Ancient texts suggest that olive oil was a key ingredient in these concoctions and treatments of physicians like Hippocrates. It was not just a food product, but also a vital component of medicine. Can you picture a bustling Greek market where vendors sold not only food but also vials of olive oil touted as cures for all sorts of ailments? Feeling sluggish? A spoonful of olive oil will fix you right up. This whimsical advertisement might well have been echoed in ancient marketplaces. The symbolic importance of olive oil extended into the realm of literature as well. Prominent playwrights and philosophers often referenced olive oil in their works, cementing its place not just in kitchens, but in the hearts of the people. The power of olive oil transcended its physical properties. It became a metaphor for wisdom, purity, and nourishment, concepts that were vital to the Greek way of life. Imagine sitting in an amphitheatre, listening to a tragic play, and understanding that the characters' actions were enriched by the very essence of their culture, represented through something as simple yet profound as olive oil. As we continue our exploration, we find that olive oil is more than just a delightful ingredient in salads and pastas. It is a symbol of Greek identity and heritage, an embodiment of their myths, and a catalyst for social rituals. This humble oil has a story that stretches far beyond its culinary applications, and as we move forward, we will see how it influenced not just daily life but also the economy and trade of ancient Greece. The journey of olive oil is one of transformation, transcending mere consumption to become a cornerstone of culture and community. As we meander deeper into the significance of olive oil, let's pivot to its economic role in ancient Greece. If you thought olive oil was just for drizzling on bread, think again. It was much more than a culinary staple. It was a powerful commodity that shaped trade, commerce, and even social hierarchies in the bustling city-states of Greece. Imagine a marketplace, filled with vibrant colors and tantalizing aromas, where olive oil flowed like a river, lubricating not just meals, but the very gears of the ancient economy. In ancient Greece, olive oil was essentially liquid gold. It was so valuable that it became a form of currency, one that could easily be traded for goods, livestock, and even land. Farmers would press their olives into oil, filling amphorae, those iconic clay jars we mentioned earlier, before carting them off to sell at local markets. Picture a bustling agora, with merchants clambering over each other, showcasing their wares, shouting prices and enticing customers with samples of their finest oil. Historians still argue whether the rise of olive oil as currency was more about practicality than luxury. After all, what's more useful than a food source that can also buy you a goat? We can't overlook the olive oil trade routes that emerged and flourished across the Mediterranean. As demand for quality olive oil grew, so too did the need for efficient shipping and trading routes. The Greeks established intricate networks that connected them with other civilizations, including the Egyptians, Phoenicians, and later the Romans. Imagine ships laden with amphorae, sailing across shimmering waters, navigating treacherous waves and bustling ports, facilitating a trade that would spread Greek culture and olive oil far and wide. It's like the ancient Mediterranean version of a global supply chain, but with a lot more saltwater and fewer shipping containers. The economic significance of olive oil even influenced social structures. Wealthy landowners, often referred to as aristocrats, gained power and status through their olive groves. Those who cultivated the land and produced high-quality oil were often seen as more prosperous, and their status elevated in the eyes of their peers. Think about it. Owning a successful olive farm was akin to running a modern-day tech startup. It was a sign of wealth, power, and influence. So as you're sitting back with a bottle of olive oil, remember that your ancestors might have been doing the same thing, but with a lot more societal implications attached. And what about the everyday farmer? For them, the olive tree was not just a source of income but a lifeline, embodying the rhythm of their agricultural cycles. They invested time, effort, and love into their groves, hoping for a bountiful harvest. The success of one season could mean the difference between comfort and hardship, making each harvest a moment of celebration or a cause for concern. You can almost feel the anticipation in the air as the harvest season approached, much like waiting for the latest season of your favorite show to drop. Will it be a hit or a flop? Beyond the socio-economic dynamics, olive oil also played a role in diplomacy and political relationships. Olive oil exchanges often accompanied treaties and agreements, a tangible expression of goodwill and mutual respect. Imagine two city-states. Negotiating a peace treaty over a feast. Olive oil would likely flow as freely as the conversation. The sharing of this precious commodity was a gesture that transcended words, symbolizing unity and trust in a world often rife with conflict. As we reflect on the economic ramifications of olive oil, it becomes clear that this humble fruit transcended its role in the kitchen. It was a cornerstone of the Greek economy, shaping trade, social hierarchies, and even political alliances. Olive oil was not just a product, it was a reflection of identity, culture, and community. And as we move forward, we'll explore its culinary uses, delving into the mouth-watering ways it enhanced Greek cuisine and brought people together around the dinner table. As we delve into the culinary landscape of ancient Greece, it becomes clear that olive oil was the star ingredient, reigning supreme in the kitchens of both humble homes and grand feasts. Picture a rustic Greek kitchen, filled with the aromas of fresh herbs, roasted meats, and the unmistakable scent of olive oil wafting through the air. For the Greeks, olive oil was not just an ingredient, it was the essence of their culinary identity, a liquid that transformed simple dishes into extraordinary delights. Olive oil was used in a variety of ways in Greek cuisine, serving as a cooking fat, a dressing, and even a flavor enhancer. From sorting vegetables to drizzling over freshly baked bread, the versatility of olive oil was unmatched. You could say it was the Swiss Army knife of the Greek pantry, always there to elevate a dish, whether it was a robust lentil stew or a delicate salad. Imagine sitting at a table, surrounded by friends and family, as a bowl of fresh greens adorned with a generous drizzle of golden olive oil takes center stage. It's a moment that captures the essence of Greek hospitality: food shared, stories told, and laughter echoing around the table. One iconic dish that epitomizes the use of olive oil is the classic Greek salad, known as horiatiki. Picture ripe tomatoes, crisp cucumbers, tangy feta cheese, and Kalamata olives all drizzled with a generous splash of olive oil. The oil does more than just add flavor, it binds the ingredients together, creating a vibrant medley of tastes and textures. Historians still argue whether the Greek salad is best enjoyed with a single drizzle or an extravagant pour of oil, but one thing is for sure: this dish wouldn't be the same without that golden touch. Beyond salads, olive oil played a pivotal role in the preparation of sauces. Tzatziki, a refreshing yogurt and cucumber sauce, is often enhanced with a splash of olive oil, creating a creamy, zesty dip that pairs perfectly with grilled meats. This simple sauce exemplifies the Greek philosophy of using fresh, quality ingredients to create something extraordinary. Imagine dipping warm pita bread into a bowl of tzatziki, the cool yogurt mingling with the rich oil, and savoring each bite as a sensory experience that transports you straight to a sun-soaked taverna along the Aegean coast. But it wasn't just salads and sauces that benefited from olive oil. Greeks also used it to prepare various types of bread, enhancing the flavor and texture of the dough. Think of the delightful crunch of freshly baked bread, still warm from the oven, with a golden crust that crackles at the slightest touch. Drizzling olive oil over a slice transforms it into a culinary treat, elevating a simple carbohydrate into something sublime. It's like sprinkling magic dust. Suddenly, you have an experience rather than just a snack. Olive oil also played a significant role in the cooking of meats. Roasting lamb, a staple of Greek feasts, was often accompanied by generous amounts of olive oil, which helped to lock in flavor and moisture. Imagine a whole lamb, marinated in olive oil, garlic, and herbs, turning slowly over an open flame. The sizzling sound and the mouth-watering aroma wafting through the air would be enough to make anyone's stomach growl. It's no wonder that such feasts were the centerpiece of celebrations, where families and friends gathered to share not just food, but also laughter and stories. Yet the culinary uses of olive oil extended beyond mere flavor and nourishment. It was also a reflection of a philosophy. The Greeks believed in the importance of balance and moderation, and olive oil embodied this principle. A meal seasoned with just the right amount of olive oil was seen as a harmonious blend of flavors, enhancing the natural taste of ingredients rather than overpowering them. It's akin to the modern ideal of less is more, where quality ingredients take precedence over overly complicated preparations. As we continue to savor the rich flavors of Greek cuisine, remember that olive oil is more than just a cooking fat. It is a cultural touchstone, a unifying element that brings people together around the table. In the following sections, we will explore the health benefits of olive oil, diving into its role as a staple in ancient medicine and the belief systems that surrounded its consumption. The journey of olive oil is not just about taste, it's also about wellness, community, and the everlasting bond between food and culture. As we glide into the realm of ancient Greek medicine, it's time to illuminate the remarkable health benefits of olive oil, a staple in the daily lives of the Greeks that went far beyond mere flavor enhancement. Imagine a world where nutrition and healing were deeply intertwined. Olive oil was revered not only for its culinary versatility, but also for its reputed medicinal properties. In this vibrant cultural tapestry, olive oil was much more than a cooking ingredient. It was a key player in the pursuit of health and wellness. The Greeks were pioneers in understanding the relationship between diet and health. They embraced olive oil as a crucial component of their nutrition, believing it offered various benefits for both body and the mind. This golden liquid was rich in monounsaturated fats, antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties, making it a treasure trove of health benefits. You could say they were the original health food enthusiasts, parading the virtues of olive oil long before it became a buzzword in modern dietary trends. One of the most celebrated health aspects of olive oil was its role in promoting heart health. The Greeks incorporated olive oil into their diet in generous amounts, often replacing saturated fats with this healthier alternative. Imagine a world where heart disease was less common and wellness was valued as a way of life. As they drizzled olive oil over their meals, they were unwittingly reaping the rewards of a heart-healthy diet and early understanding of the benefits that modern science would eventually confirm. But it didn't stop at cardiovascular benefits. Olive oil was believed to aid digestion, promote healthy skin, and support overall vitality. Physicians like Hippocrates, often referred to as the father of medicine, championed olive oil for its healing properties. He recommended it for a variety of ailments, including wounds, digestive issues, and even as a remedy for hair loss. Can you imagine ancient Greeks visiting their local physician, who confidently prescribed a daily dose of olive oil as a cure-all? It's a bit like today's trendy wellness coach suggesting you add essential oils to your routine, except this advice came with centuries of tradition backing it up. Moreover, olive oil was used in numerous beauty regimens. For the Greeks, looking and feeling good went hand in hand, and they often used olive oil to nourish their skin and hair. Imagine women anointing themselves with olive oil before attending a gathering, the shimmering liquid enhancing their natural glow. It's like the ancient equivalent of a high-end moisturizer, infused with the wisdom of generations. The richness of olive oil enveloped their skin, serving as both a beauty treatment and a symbol of wealth and status. As olive oil became an integral part of their health regimen, it also influenced their daily routines. Athletes, for instance, often used olive oil to prepare for competitions. Imagine competitive runners anointing their bodies with oil before a race, a practice that not only enhanced their performance but also showcased their connection to the divine. It's a bit like modern athletes endorsing energy gels and protein shakes back then. The Greeks understood that oil could be both nourishing and energizing. Historians still argue whether the Greeks' reverence for olive oil was driven more by practicality or by its symbolic associations with health and wellness. But it had been a combination of both. The truth likely lies somewhere in the middle, where the benefits of their dietary choices intersected with the cultural significance of their ingredients. As we navigate through this rich history, it's evident that olive oil was more than a simple part of the diet. It was a cornerstone of their holistic approach to health. The Greeks saw this golden liquid as a blessing from the gods, a gift that enriched their lives and promoted well-being. This sacred connection between food and health remains relevant today as we continue to seek out the benefits of natural, wholesome ingredients. In our next chapter, we'll explore the fascinating ways olive oil was intertwined with religious practices and rituals in ancient Greece, where this precious resource became a symbol of devotion, purity, and community. The journey of olive oil is not merely a historical narrative, it's a path laden with culture, spirituality, and the timeless pursuit of health. As we venture into the sacred landscapes of ancient Greece, let's explore the profound connection between olive oil and religious practices. In this world, where the divine and the mundane intertwined, olive oil held a special place in the hearts and rituals of the Greeks. Imagine entering a sun-drenched temple, the air thick with incense, and the soft flickering of oil lamps casting gentle shadows. Here, olive oil was not merely a substance, it was a sacred offering and a symbol of purity, devotion, and connection to the gods. Olive oil was an essential component of many religious ceremonies, often used in libations, ritual offerings poured out to the deities. Imagine a priest standing before an altar, the congregation watching in respectful silence as he lifts a flask of olive oil. With reverent hands, he pours the oil onto the ground, a gesture that symbolizes gratitude and reverence towards the gods. This act of offering was believed to invoke divine favor, ensuring blessings for the community. Just like today's practices of lighting candles in church, these moments were imbued with a spiritual significance that transcended the physical act. In addition to libations, olive oil was a key ingredient in anointing rituals. The Greeks believed that anointing with oil had purifying properties, cleansing both the body and the spirit. Imagine a celebratory occasion, perhaps a wedding, or a victory at the Olympic Games where individuals were anointed with olive oil before stepping into their new roles. This practice not only signified purification, but also the elevation of their status, transforming them in the eyes of the community. It was a bit like receiving a blessing from the universe, a way of marking significant moments with divine acknowledgement. One of the most poignant examples of olive oil's sacredness can be found in the cult of Athena. As the patron goddess of Athens, she was honored with olive oil offerings on special occasions. The Athenians revered the olive tree that Athena gifted them. It didn't just provide sustenance, but also stood as a symbol of peace and prosperity. Picture Athenians gathering in the agora, where they would offer olive oil at altars dedicated to Athena, seeking her blessings for their city and people. Lively scene, bursting with vibrant colors, laughter, and heartfelt prayers. Furthermore, olive oil was often associated with various festivals and celebrations. For example, during the Panathenaic festival, a grand celebration honoring Athena, olive oil was distributed as prizes to victors in athletic competitions. Imagine the pride of athletes as they received amphorae filled with the finest olive oil, not just as a reward, but as a sign of their connection to the gods. It was akin to winning a trophy today, but with the added significance of divine favor attached to it. The use of olive oil also extended into daily rituals and personal care. It was common for Greeks to anoint themselves with oil before important events, believing that doing so would attract good fortune and blessings. Picture a young woman preparing for a festival, her skin glowing as she applies olive oil, infusing her with confidence and grace. This practice not only enhanced their physical appearance, but also served as a reminder of their connection to the divine, daily ritual infused with spirituality. Historians still argue whether olive oil's religious significance stemmed from its practical uses or its symbolic value, but it's clear that this golden liquid transcended mere consumption. Olive oil in ancient Greece was a manifestation of devotion, a key player in rituals that shaped their spiritual and communal life. As we reflect on the sacred role of olive oil in religious practices, we see how this simple ingredient became a bridge between the earthly and the divine. In the following sections, we will trace the trade routes that allowed olive oil to travel beyond Greece's borders, exploring how it became a vital commodity in the Mediterranean world and a catalyst for cultural exchange. The journey of olive oil is rich with history, spirituality, and the human desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. As we embark on the next leg of our journey, let's trace the fascinating trade routes that facilitated the spread of olive oil throughout the Mediterranean. Picture ancient ships bobbing in the gentle waves, their sails billowing in the breeze, laden with amphorae of golden liquid destined for distant shores. Olive oil was not merely a local staple, it became a prized commodity that traveled far beyond the borders of Greece, bringing with it a wealth of cultural exchange and interaction. By the time of classical Greece, olive oil had established itself as a vital trade item, especially in the thriving markets of cities like Athens and Corinth. The Greeks were skilled sailors and merchants, keenly aware of the potential for trade. Imagine bustling ports filled with traders from various cultures, each vying for the finest oils, spices, and goods. Olive oil became a trade currency, often exchanged for grains, textiles, and other luxuries, making it a key player in the interconnected economy of the ancient world. The notion of liquid gold was not just a catchy phrase, it was a reality that shaped the social and economic landscape of the time. The olive oil trade flourished particularly during the Hellenistic period, following the conquests of Alexander the Great. As Greek culture spread across the Mediterranean and into regions like Egypt and Persia, so too did the appreciation for olive oil. Imagine the excitement of a merchant arriving in a new port, ready to share the delights of Greek olive oil with eager consumers unfamiliar with its richness. You can almost hear the hushed whispers as locals sample the oil, marveling at its complex flavors and health benefits. Trade routes connected Greece to the islands of the Aegean Sea, the coasts of Asia Minor, and even further afield to places like Rome and North Africa. Through these routes, olive oil became a staple in kitchens across the Mediterranean. Romans, in particular, developed a taste for Greek olive oil, often importing it in vast quantities to satisfy their culinary cravings. Envision a Roman banquet, lavishly adorned with dishes drizzled in olive oil, showcasing the wealth of the host. It was a culinary trend that mirrored the popularity of fine wines, and soon olive oil became an essential part of Roman gastronomy. The amphorae themselves are a testament to the importance of olive oil in trade. These clay jars, often beautifully decorated, were designed specifically for transporting liquids. They were made to withstand the rigors of sea travel, ensuring that the precious cargo remained intact. Picture a ship's hold filled with amphorae, each one telling a story of its origins, the olives pressed and the care taken in production. When these amphorae arrived at their destinations, they opened up new culinary horizons for the regions that received them. Historians still argue about the exact impact of olive oil trade on local economies and agricultural practices, but it's clear that the movement of olive oil fostered not just economic growth but also cultural exchange. As traders mingled and shared knowledge, the culinary techniques and agricultural practices surrounding olive oil improved and adapted, evolving into a shared Mediterranean heritage. The spread of olive oil paralleled the spread of ideas as recipes and cooking methods crossed borders, enriching the diets of various cultures. As the centuries rolled on and civilizations rose and fell, the importance of olive oil endured. It became a symbol of wealth and status, a connection to the earth, and a shared resource among nations. Even today, we see echoes of that ancient trade as Greek olive oil continues to be celebrated around the world, revered for its quality and health benefits. As we prepare to leave the realm of trade and commerce, let's delve into the social dynamics of olive oil consumption. We'll explore how olive oil reflected social status and shaped relationships in ancient Greek society, how a simple bottle of oil could signify wealth, prestige, and access to a lifestyle that many aspire to achieve. The journey of olive oil is not just about commerce, it's also about the intricate web of human relationships that it wove across time and space. As we navigate the intricate social dynamics of ancient Greece, it becomes evident that olive oil was more than just a dietary staple, it was a potent symbol of status and wealth. Imagine the bustling agora on a warm afternoon, where merchants hawked their wares and citizens engaged in lively debates about philosophy and politics. In the midst of this vibrant scene, a bottle of high-quality olive oil would catch the eye, a precious commodity that spoke volumes about one's social standing. For the ancient Greeks, the quality and quantity of olive oil one possessed were direct indicators of wealth and social prestige. Wealthy landowners often boasted expansive olive groves, and their ability to produce the finest oils set them apart in the eyes of their peers. Picture an aristocrat hosting a lavish banquet, where the centerpieces are not just elaborate dishes but also exquisite amphorae filled with the best olive oil their estates could produce. Guests would admire the rich golden hue, swirling it in their cups and sharing stories of the harvest, an act that conveyed sophistication and cultivated taste. Conversely, the lower classes had limited access to premium olive oil, often relying on lesser quality oils for their cooking needs. This disparity reflected a broader social stratification, where the rich indulged in the finest oils while the poorer citizens made do with what was available. Historians still argue whether olive oil consumption created a distinct class divide or merely mirrored existing social hierarchies, but it's clear that oil played a significant role in defining one's identity within the community. Olive oil also impacted social gatherings and communal events. In ancient Greece, dining was not just about sustenance, it was a social affair. Imagine a symposium, an elegant gathering of men engaging in conversation, music, and of course plenty of food and drink. Olive oil would feature prominently in these events, served alongside bread for dipping, drizzled over roasted meats, and even mixed into wine. The quality of the olive oil offered at these gatherings could signify the host's generosity and status. Guests would evaluate not only the food, but also the oil, making it an essential component of their social interactions. Furthermore, olive oil had a role in rituals that celebrated community and kinship. During harvest festivals, families would come together to pick olives, a communal activity that strengthened bonds and fostered relationships. The resulting oil was often shared among families, reinforcing social ties and creating a sense of unity. Imagine the laughter and camaraderie as families pressed olives together, knowing that the fruits of their labor would nourish their community for months to come. This collective effort created a shared identity based around the harvest, with olive oil at the center of their cultural practices. In the realm of marriage, olive oil also carried symbolic weight. It was common for brides and grooms to use olive oil in their wedding ceremonies, anointing themselves to signify purity and blessing. Picture a radiant bride adorned with olive oil, entering a new phase of life with hope and prosperity, a beautiful reminder of the traditions that bound communities together. The impact of olive oil extended beyond the individual and familial levels. It played a role in political alliances as well. Leaders would often present olive oil as gifts to allies and dignitaries, showcasing their wealth and power. Imagine a ruler offering an exquisite amphora of fine olive oil to a visiting ambassador. This gesture was a sign of goodwill and an investment in future relations. Such acts not only solidified political connections, but also ingrained olive oil within the fabric of diplomacy. In summary, olive oil was not merely a food item in ancient Greece, it was a reflection of social status, a tool for communal bonding, and a catalyst for cultural practices. Through its consumption and trade, it revealed the nuances of Greek society, highlighting the intersections of wealth, tradition, and community. As we proceed, we'll explore the art of olive oil production, detailing the intricate methods and techniques that transformed olives into the cherished liquid gold the Greeks held so dear. The journey of olive oil is a tapestry of human experience, rich, flavorful, and deeply intertwined with the essence of life itself. As we immerse ourselves in the art of olive oil production, let's uncover the meticulous methods and techniques that transform the humble olive into the liquid gold celebrated by the ancient Greeks. Picture a sun-drenched grove, where the gnarled branches of olive trees sway gently in the breeze, heavy with plump, ripe fruit. The journey from olive to oil is a fascinating process, one steeped in tradition and skill, that reflects not only the ingenuity of the Greeks but also their deep reverence for the olive tree. The process of olive oil production begins with harvesting. Traditionally, olives were hand-picked during the late fall or early winter months when they reached optimal ripeness. Imagine a group of farmers, baskets slung over their shoulders, carefully climbing ladders to reach the highest branches. The air is filled with laughter and camaraderie as they share stories while they work, their hands stained with the rich purple hue of the olives. This labor-intensive practice showcased the Greeks' deep connection to the land and their commitment to quality. Once harvested, the olives were taken to the press for processing. There were various methods of extraction, but the most common ancient technique involved crushing the olives to release their oil. Picture a stone mill, where a heavy stone wheel rolled over the olives, turning them into a thick paste. This was no simple task. It required skill and strength to ensure that the olives were crushed properly, releasing the maximum amount of oil. The paste was then spread onto woven mats and stacked in a press, where great pressure would be applied. Imagine the sound of wood creaking as the press compacted the mats, squeezing out the fragrant oil that would soon flow into clay containers. Historians still argue about the exact techniques employed in ancient olive oil production, but evidence suggests that the Greeks were innovative in their methods. They developed multiple types of presses over time, refining their processes to increase efficiency and oil quality. Some presses used a simple lever system, while others were more complex, employing weights to exert pressure on the olive paste. Regardless of the method, the Greeks understood that quality mattered. They often produced extra virgin olive oil, regarded as the finest and most flavorful grade, by using the first cold press of the olives, a sign of their dedication to excellence. After extraction, the oil was typically stored in amphorae, which were sealed to protect the oil from light and air. Imagine the sight of countless amphorae lined up in a cool, dark storeroom, each holding the essence of the harvest. The amphorae were typically labeled with the producer's name and the quality of the oil, ensuring that consumers knew exactly what they were purchasing. It's like having a vintage wine cellar filled with prized bottles, each with a story to tell, a testament to the care and craftsmanship of the producer. The Greeks also understood the importance of preserving the flavor and nutritional properties of their oil. They recognized that exposure to heat, light, and air could degrade the quality of olive oil, leading to rancidity. To combat this, they stored their oil in cool, shaded locations and used dark-colored amphorae to protect it from sunlight. This attention to detail ensured that their oil remained fresh and flavorful for extended periods, making it a sought-after commodity in both local and distant markets. As olive oil production evolved, the Greeks began to experiment with blends and infusions, incorporating various herbs and spices into their oils. Imagine a fragrant jar of olive oil infused with rosemary or thyme, each drop capturing the essence of the Mediterranean landscape. This practice not only enhanced the flavor of the oil but also allowed for creative culinary applications, showcasing the Greeks' innovative spirit and appreciation for gastronomy. The art of olive oil production was not just about creating a product, it was a cultural practice that embodied the very essence of Greek life. It represented hard work, community, and a deep respect for nature. The process of cultivating olives and producing oil fostered connections between families and generations, passing down knowledge and traditions that would endure through time. As we contemplate the artistry involved in olive oil production, it becomes clear that this golden liquid is a celebration of life itself. It embodies the hard work of countless individuals who toiled under the sun, their efforts resulting in a product that nourished bodies, enhanced flavors, and enriched culture. In the next chapters, we'll delve into the influence of olive oil in Greek philosophy and literature, exploring how this beloved ingredient found its way into the works of renowned thinkers and playwrights, shaping not only their ideas but also the cultural fabric of ancient Greece. As we transition from the fields and presses to the realms of thought and artistry, let's explore the profound impact of olive oil in Greek philosophy and literature. In a society where food and culture intertwined seamlessly, olive oil emerged not just as a dietary staple but as a symbol of wisdom, prosperity, and the good life. Imagine the vibrant conversations held in the shaded courtyards of Athens, where philosophers and playwrights gathered to discuss the very essence of existence over a simple meal steeped in the richness of olive oil. One of the most notable figures in ancient Greek philosophy, Aristotle, acknowledged the importance of olive oil within the context of a balanced diet and lifestyle. He understood the interplay between nutrition and virtue, often discussing how physical well-being contributes to intellectual and moral development. Picture Aristotle, deep in thought, gesturing animatedly as he emphasizes the virtues of moderation and the nourishment derived from quality ingredients like olive oil. For him, olive oil wasn't merely a food choice, it was an integral part of living well, a conduit to achieving a balanced life, a concept still relevant in modern discussions about diet and health. Beyond the realms of philosophy, olive oil also found a prominent place in the works of Greece's great playwrights. The tragedies and comedies of playwrights like Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes were often infused with references to everyday life and the cultural practices of their time. Imagine attending a performance in an ancient theatre, the audience captivated not only by the stories, but also by the food references that highlighted the characters' social status and virtues. Olive oil served as a metaphor for abundance and prosperity. It was often mentioned in relation to feasts, celebrations, and the joys of life. In one famous passage, Aristophanes humorously portrayed the luxurious lifestyle of the wealthy, using olive oil as a symbol of excess and indulgence. His witty commentary, wrapped in satire, reflected the societal values of the time, where the quality of olive oil could signify the character and morality of an individual. Imagine the audience roaring with laughter as they recognized the truth in his words, understanding that olive oil was not just a condiment but a representation of their shared values and experiences. Moreover, olive oil's presence in literature often conveyed deeper philosophical ideas. It was used to illustrate themes of nourishment not just of the body, but of the soul. The Greeks believed that just as olive oil enriched their food, it also enriched their lives. Poets penned verses celebrating the olive tree as a source of life, drawing connections between nature, human existence, and the divine. Picture a poet sitting under an olive tree, crafting verses that reflect on the tree's resilience and the bountiful oil it provides, an embodiment of the life force that sustains both body and spirit. Historians still argue about the extent to which olive oil influenced philosophical discourse, but its recurring presence in texts suggests that it was a critical element in shaping the cultural narrative. The Greeks understood that food was not merely fuel, it was a reflection of their identity, their values, and their connection to the divine. Olive oil, in its myriad forms, became a powerful symbol of this relationship. As we contemplate the legacy of olive oil in philosophy and literature, we see how this simple ingredient transcended its culinary applications, becoming a medium for exploring profound ideas about existence, morality, and community. In the next chapters, we will delve into the festivals and celebrations dedicated to olives and olive oil, discovering how these events highlighted the cultural significance of this beloved resource in ancient Greece. The journey of olive oil is not just about its uses, it's about how it shaped the very fabric of Greek life, weaving together threads of nourishment, spirituality, and identity. As we continue our exploration of olive oil in ancient Greece, let's dive into the vibrant festivals and celebrations dedicated to olives and olive oil. Picture the excitement in the air, a sense of community, joy, and gratitude as people gather to honor the very essence of their agricultural heritage. These festivals were more than mere celebrations, they were grand displays of culture, showcasing the deep respect the Greeks held for what they called liquid gold. One of the most significant festivals was the Panathenæa, held annually in Athens to honor the goddess Athena, the city's patron deity. Imagine the streets of Athens bustling with activity as citizens adorned themselves in festive attire, preparing for a week filled with athletic competitions, religious ceremonies, and cultural displays. At the heart of this celebration was olive oil, which played a pivotal role in the festivities. Victorious athletes in competitions were awarded amphorae filled with the finest olive oil, a prize that symbolized not only their physical prowess but also their connection to the divine. Winning such an award was akin to receiving a crowning glory, a tangible reminder of their achievements and the blessings of the goddess. The Panathenæa also featured a grand procession, where participants carried offerings to the Acropolis, including baskets of olives and jars of olive oil. Imagine the vibrant colors of the garments, the sounds of music filling the air, and the scent of fresh olives wafting through the streets as the procession made its way to the Temple of Athena. This was a moment of unity for the Athenians, a time when they came together to celebrate their shared identity and cultural heritage, all centered around the olive tree and its gifts. Another notable festival was the Thesmophoria, dedicated to Demeter and Persephone, the goddesses of agriculture and fertility. This festival celebrated the harvest and the cycles of life, and it was during this time that olives played a symbolic role. Women, in particular, were the central figures in the Thesmophoria, participating in rituals that honored the earth's bounty. Imagine a group of women gathering in a sacred grove, sharing stories and traditions, their hands working together to prepare offerings of olives and olive oil for the deities. Their actions not only honored the gods, but also reinforced the bond among the women in their community, a powerful reminder of the importance of shared experiences in the cultivation of culture. Olive oil also found its place in the symposia or drinking parties, which were significant social events in ancient Greece. These gatherings were essential for bonding and fostering relationships among friends and political allies. During symposia, olive oil was often used in culinary creations, served alongside bread and wine, enhancing the sensory experience of the meal. Picture a candlelit room filled with laughter, philosophical debates, and the rich aroma of olive oil mingling with the intoxicating scent of wine. The atmosphere would be both lively and reflective, emphasizing the Greeks' appreciation for good food and stimulating conversation. In these festive settings, olive oil served as a symbol of hospitality and generosity. Hosts would take great pride in offering the finest oil to their guests, often showcasing the quality of their produce as a point of pride. It was a reflection of their status and the depth of their connection to the land. The very act of sharing olive oil became a gesture of goodwill, reinforcing social ties and fostering camaraderie in a society that valued communal bonds. Historians still debate the extent to which these festivals influenced agricultural practices and community cohesion, but it's clear that they played a vital role in the cultural landscape of ancient Greece. The reverence for olive oil was intertwined with concepts of fertility, prosperity, and unity, showcasing how this simple ingredient transcended its role in the kitchen to become a cornerstone of Greek identity. As we celebrate the festivals dedicated to olives and olive oil, we see how this golden liquid was woven into the fabric of daily life, reflecting the Greeks' values and their deep gratitude for nature's gifts. In the next sections, we'll explore the decline of olive oil's importance in later periods, examining the factors that led to shifts in its cultural significance and how it has evolved to retain its place in modern society. The journey of olive oil is rich with history and meaning, illuminating the ways in which a single ingredient can shape the identity of a civilization. As we shift our focus to the later periods of Greek history, we can observe the gradual decline of olive oil's prominence and importance. While the golden elixir once reigned supreme in the kitchens, rituals, and economies of ancient Greece, a confluence of factors led to changes in its cultural significance and usage. Imagine the transition from a society deeply connected to the land and its harvests to one influenced by a changing world. This was the backdrop against which olive oil began to lose some of its former glory. One of the primary factors contributing to the decline of olive oil's importance was the rise of new agricultural practices and the introduction of alternative oils. As trade routes expanded and communication between cultures flourished, other oils, such as sesame, flaxseed, and even imported palm oil, began to gain popularity. These oils were often less expensive and easier to produce in certain regions, making them attractive alternatives for cooking and consumption. Picture a bustling market where vendors touting these new oils gain the attention of consumers who once revered olive oil as the only option. This gradual shift highlights how culinary trends can evolve, influenced by trade, innovation, and changing tastes. Additionally, the rise of the Roman Empire brought about significant changes in the cultural landscape. While olive oil continued to be valued, the Romans introduced their own agricultural practices, which sometimes overshadowed Greek traditions. The Romans were skilled in many areas, including agriculture and trade, and they quickly adopted olive cultivation, spreading their own varieties of olive and methods across their vast empire. Imagine Roman farmers emulating Greek practices, planting olive groves and competing for the production of the finest oils. The once distinct Greek identity began to blend with Roman influences, leading to a dilution of the unique cultural associations that olive oil had once held. Moreover, the economic shifts during the late antiquity period affected the production and distribution of olive oil. As the political landscape of the Mediterranean changed, wars and invasions disrupted trade routes and agricultural production. Imagine the uncertainty that settlers faced as they navigated the complexities of a rapidly shifting world. This instability had a direct impact on the agriculture that had once flourished. Olive groves were often neglected, and the tradition of producing high-quality oil began to wane, leading to a decline in local markets. The change in consumer preferences also played a role in the diminished status of olive oil. With the introduction of new culinary techniques and the growing influence of foreign cuisines, the Greeks began to adapt their palates. The use of spices and alternative cooking fats became more prevalent, causing olive oil to take a back seat in some culinary applications. Picture a Greek household shifting from traditional olive oil-based recipes to experimenting with newly available ingredients, a sign of the evolving tastes and traditions that characterized this transitional period. Yet, olive oil did not disappear entirely from Greek life. Rather, it became a product of nostalgia, cherished in certain circles while its widespread use declined. As the empire transitioned into the Byzantine era, olive oil remained a staple, but its status as a symbol of wealth and prestige was dimming. The oil was still present in religious rituals and everyday cooking, but it lost some of its former significance as a cultural cornerstone. Historians still examine the myriad factors that led to olive oil's decline in prominent usage, debating how much of it was due to external influences versus internal shifts within Greek society. Despite the challenges, olive oil persisted through these transition periods, adapting to new contexts while retaining its essential qualities. As we move forward, we'll explore the revival of olive oil's importance in modern times, examining how this ancient treasure has reclaimed its rightful place in the culinary world and in the hearts of people globally. The journey of olive oil is a testament to resilience and adaptation, reflecting the enduring legacy of a simple ingredient that has shaped civilization for millennia. As we leap into the modern world, we can witness a remarkable revival of olive oil's importance, showcasing its resilience and adaptability throughout history. The golden liquid, once a staple of ancient Greek life, has re-emerged as a cornerstone of contemporary diets, celebrated for its health benefits, culinary versatility, and cultural significance. Picture modern kitchens filled with bottles of extra virgin olive oil, each one a testament to the enduring legacy of this ancient ingredient as it finds its way back into daily life and global cuisine. The resurgence of olive oil began in the 20th century when health researchers started to recognize the numerous health benefits associated with its consumption. Studies highlighted the positive effects of monounsaturated fats on heart health, anti-inflammatory properties, and the abundance of antioxidants found in high-quality olive oil. Imagine nutritionists advocating for olive oil as a fundamental part of a healthy diet, akin to a modern-day oracle proclaiming its benefits in much the same way ancient Greeks revered it. The Mediterranean diet, which prominently features olive oil, gained widespread recognition as a model for healthy eating, drawing attention back to those ancient culinary practices that had once been overshadowed. This renewed interest has led to a flourishing industry dedicated to the production and marketing of olive oil. Countries like Greece, Italy, Spain, and Tunisia have revitalized their olive oil production, investing in modern techniques while preserving traditional methods. Picture the sun-drenched groves of olive trees dotting the Mediterranean landscape, as farmers carefully harvest their olives and press them with the same passion and craftsmanship passed down through generations. The emphasis on quality and authenticity has become paramount, with producers striving to create oils that reflect the unique characteristics of their regions. As the global demand for high-quality olive oil has grown, so too has the awareness of the importance of labeling and authenticity. The rise of fraud in the olive oil market, where lower-quality oils were mislabeled as extra virginal to increased consumer scrutiny and a demand for transparency. Imagine shoppers examining labels and seeking certifications that guarantee the quality of the olive oil they purchase, ensuring they are getting the genuine article. This heightened awareness has not only educated consumers, but has also inspired producers to adhere to strict standards, fostering a culture of quality across the industry. In culinary circles, olive oil has regained its status as an essential ingredient, heralded by chefs and home cooks alike. Imagine a contemporary restaurant where chefs artfully drizzle high-quality olive oil over their dishes, enhancing flavors and elevating the dining experience. Olive oil is no longer merely a cooking fat, it's a finishing touch that adds depth and richness to a wide array of dishes. The versatility of olive oil has found it a place in dressings, marinades, baked goods, and even desserts, showcasing its ability to meld seamlessly with diverse flavors and cuisines. Moreover, olive oil has become a symbol of sustainability and environmental consciousness. As consumers become more aware of the ecological impact of their food choices, the focus on organic and sustainably produced olive oil has grown. Farmers are employing eco-friendly practices, such as organic cultivation and environmentally responsible production methods, to meet consumer demand while preserving the land. Imagine a farmer explaining their commitment to sustainable practices while showcasing the intricate relationship between the olive tree and the ecosystem, echoing the ancient Greeks' reverence for nature. In popular culture, olive oil has become a recognizable symbol of Mediterranean lifestyle and wellness, celebrated in cookbooks, health blogs, and cooking shows. It has transcended its origins to become a global phenomenon, allowing people from different cultures to connect with and appreciate its rich history. From drizzling it over a fresh salad to using it as a base for dipping sauces, olive oil is now synonymous with healthy living and vibrant cuisine. As we reflect on the revival of olive oil in modern times, it becomes evident that this ancient elixir has not only reclaimed its place in kitchens around the world, but has also enriched the lives of those who embrace it. The journey of olive oil continues to evolve, bridging the gap between past and present, reminding us of the deep-rooted connections we share with the land and the traditions that have shaped our culinary heritage. In our final section, Well, take a moment to reflect on the enduring legacy of olive oil in both ancient and contemporary contexts, celebrating its role as a cultural artifact that encapsulates the beauty of human experience, community, and the timeless connection between nature and nourishment. The journey of olive oil is a story of resilience, tradition, and a shared appreciation for the simple pleasures that enrich our lives. As we approach the conclusion of our journey through the rich history of olive oil, it's time to reflect on its enduring legacy, how this humble ingredient has shaped not only culinary practices, but also the very fabric of human culture and community. From the sun-drenched groves of ancient Greece to modern kitchens around the world, olive oil has traversed centuries, embodying stories of resilience, tradition, and a profound connection to the land. In ancient times, olive oil was more than just a food source. It was a symbol of prosperity, health, and divine favor. The Greeks revered olive oil not only for its practical uses, but also as a cultural artifact that represented their values, beliefs, and identity. Its presence in religious ceremonies, athletic competitions, and daily meals forged a bond between the people and the natural world, allowing them to honor the gifts of the earth. Just imagine the pride of an Athenian as they shared a meal, drizzling their finest olive oil over bread, the act itself a celebration of community and culture. Throughout history, olive oil has been a witness to the ebb and flow of civilizations. It has adapted and transformed, integrating into the culinary practices of different cultures, while remaining true to its roots. As empires rose and fell, olive oil continued to traverse trade routes, connecting people across borders and fostering cultural exchange. The Mediterranean became not just a geographic space, but a rich tapestry woven together by shared traditions, flavors, and the collective appreciation for this golden elixir. In the modern world, olive oil has experienced a remarkable resurgence. As people become increasingly aware of the health benefits associated with a Mediterranean diet, olive oil has regained its reputation as a staple of wellness and culinary excellence. It has become a focal point in discussions about sustainable agriculture and environmental responsibility, encouraging both consumers and producers to prioritize quality and authenticity. Picture a modern chef, skillfully drizzling exquisite olive oil over a beautifully plated dish, and you see the legacy of centuries of practice, artistry, and reverence for the ingredient. Beyond its culinary applications, olive oil serves as a reminder of the importance of community and connection. The rituals surrounding its production, from the harvest to the sharing of meals, continue to foster relationships among families and friends. The act of gathering to enjoy food prepared with olive oil reflects a timeless tradition of hospitality, where the simplest ingredients create lasting memories. In a world that often feels fragmented, olive oil remains a bridge, uniting people around the table, celebrating the joys of nourishment and companionship. Moreover, as we embrace the future, the story of olive oil is one of resilience and adaptation. Farmers and producers are increasingly turning to sustainable practices, ensuring that the cultivation of olives and the production of oil honor the environment. This commitment to stewardship mirrors the ancient Greeks' respect for nature, creating a continuum that links past and present. Just as olive oil was valued for its connection to the earth, today's consumers are increasingly supportive of practices that protect the land for future generations. In closing, the journey of olive oil is a rich narrative filled with lessons about culture, community, and the profound impact of food on our lives. It is a story of continuity and change, reminding us that while times may shift, the essence of what connects us remains steadfast. Whether drizzling it over a salad, using it in a family recipe, or sharing it at a festive gathering, olive oil embodies the spirit of togetherness, nourishing both body and soul. As we dim the lights on our exploration of olive oil, take a moment to appreciate this timeless ingredient that has transcended the ages. It is a testament to human ingenuity, cultural richness, and the enduring bond we share with the earth. So, as you perhaps pour a little olive oil in your next meal or share a moment with loved ones around the dinner table, remember the stories woven into each drop, a legacy that continues to thrive and connect us across time.